You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for being with us this Friday. I'm Ann Magovic, and here's a look at some of our news headlines this morning. The stage is set for the Fleet Week Air Show today in San Francisco. A little scaled back, the Canadian Snowbirds are the big headliner for this afternoon's performance. That is because the Blue Angels are grounded due to the government shutdown. The Colombian Ark Gloria ship is docked for tours, and the HMCS Nanimau from Canada is making its way into town. There has been another report of a freeway shooting in Oakland, this time on southbound 880 near the toll plaza. It happened at around 6 this morning. The CHP closed lanes for several hours to investigate. They haven't said yet if anybody was hurt, but we are told that a driver was being treated on scene by emergency personnel. And that comes a day after a freeway shooting on Highway 24 in Oakland near the Caldecott Tunnel. At least 2 cars were hit during yesterday's afternoon commute, but no injuries were reported there. 1 person has been arrested. And Israel says a Gaza ceasefire is now in effect. That starts the 72-hour clock for the release of the remaining hostages in Gaza. Palestinians are starting to return to what's left of their neighborhoods. That comes after President Trump helped broker a peace deal between Israel and Hamas to end the war. In exchange, Israel agreed to release 250 Palestinian protesters. All right, let's get a check on our first alert forecast now as we look ahead to the weekend. Here's a look outside from our Treasure Island camera. Meteorologist Jessica Birch tracking the conditions for Fleet Week festivities and a chance for some heavier rain next week.
Well, we have beautiful weather just in time for the air show this weekend. Take a look at this. We're gearing up for daytime highs very similar to yesterday in the 70s and 60s, widespread throughout the bay. That puts us about 5 degrees below average in certain communities down into the Santa Clara Valley. We zoom all the way into the North Bay. Santa Rosa's gearing up for daytime highs in the 60s this afternoon, similar to San Francisco. And as we tilt that camera high, I want to show you one last thing. We're not done with the rain just yet. Check this out. You're going to see a little bit of green on this map as we head into the overnight hours tonight. We actually have some quick showers pushing throughout all the Bay Area. So don't be shocked if you wake up tomorrow morning and you're thinking to yourself, did it rain last night? Because yes, it probably did, but it's very light. And then we dry it fast just in time for this weekend. Take a look at this. If you're planning on going out to the air show, first things first, it's still going to be a great one, even though the Blue Angels aren't there. We're gearing up for a great forecast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, upper 60s in the forecast. Grab that jacket just in case, but honestly, it's going to be a beautiful one. Pretty light winds too. We're talking about winds pushing in from the northwest Saturday and Sunday up to around 15 to 20 miles per hour, but it should be lighter in those early morning hours. Now, we do have some changes as we head into next week. This is really important to note. Saturday and Sunday are dry days. Look at Monday. We not only cool down from the 70s into the 60s, but we also have stormy weather right around the corner. And that lingers as we head into next week. We have a lot of cooler weather on tap for us as we head into next week all throughout the Bay Area as this low pressure system rolls in. It'll increase relative humidity. It brings in rainy conditions widespread from the South Bay all the way to the North Bay. And we're going to keep a close eye on those rainfall totals as we head into next week. It's expected to be a wet start to the week and a wet finish to the week. So we'll have more on that coming up in a bit. Back to you.
Well, the show will go on today for Fleet Week in San Francisco, and talent from other countries are going to take the spotlight. The Canadian Snowbirds headline the show this afternoon. They're well known for their precision stunts and tight flying. They're going to be also performing throughout the weekend. And that is the Patriots jet team based out of Contra Costa County, also taking flight today. They are civilian-owned and operated, so they are not affected by the ongoing government shutdown. This week's celebration not just happening in the air. The Colombian Navy flagship, the Ark Gloria, sailed into the bay. It is docked in San Francisco today. It arrived earlier this week to a lot of fanfare. That ship serves as a floating symbol of friendship and goodwill from the people of Colombia.
It's a sign of how Colombia, regardless of who the president may be here or there, we're both democracies, and we've been able to build over the years a partnership that understands that we may have differences, but we also have many elements in common.
Free tours of that ship are available. As our neighbors to the north are the main draw for this afternoon's air show, our Sarah Donchie heard from the Snowbirds, and they say they are more than ready to put on a great show.
While it might sound nice to hear our Canadian neighbors save the day for Fleet Week, that isn't how they view it.
Us moving up is just a next man up mentality to help the air show.
The Canadian Armed Forces Snowbirds demonstration team was always slotted to be a part of this year's Fleet Week air show lineup, but when our government shut down and the Blue Angels were forced to pull out, their team of pilots and technicians became the main event.
Unlike the U.S. jet teams, we're flying slightly older equipment, as you can see. We're flying 9 airplanes in very tight formation. The U.S. teams are flying 6 airplanes. So that's what we add. Our formations are a little bit more dynamic because the aircraft's a little bit less performing. So it does give us some leeway to be a little bit more dynamic with how we fly the airplanes.
While the Snowbirds don't fly as fast as the Blue Angels, they are able to fly only about 4 feet apart and hit about 7 Gs. Because they fly slower, they may be able to provide the crowd below a better view, since they can be right in front of the crowd basically at all times during the show. And it's been a while since they visited. They were last here in 2017, and it is Major Brent Handy's first time flying in San Francisco.
I'd say the biggest challenge for us here is just the distraction of such a beautiful city. You know, like every time you're sneaking a peek at the Golden Gate Bridge or anything like that, it's quite a beautiful sight.
The Snowbirds' appearance comes at a time when U.S.-Canada relations have been pretty strained, with an escalating trade dispute after the Trump administration hit Canada with tariffs, and a new focus on issues related to border security. But you wouldn't know it from talking to the Snowbirds, who seem very eager to perform here.
How do I feel about it personally? I feel disappointed that we're not going to be able to showcase alongside our brothers and sisters in the U.S. military. That's a big part of our mission, is to just demonstrate that cooperation we have between Canada and the U.S. At the end of the day, we're neighbors. We're always going to be neighbors, and we're always cooperating militarily.
Well, not everybody is bummed out over the scaled-down Fleet Week this year. There's some disappointment amongst neighbors, but others say they're glad they don't have to worry about all the noise.
Definitely disappointed that the Blue Angels are not going to be here. We've lived in the Marina District for about 13 years. It's one of our favorite things that happens throughout the year.
When they fly over, it's just like shaking our apartment, so it's not only the high volume noise. Last year, I took like 4 days vacation. We went to the Tahoe just to get away from this area.
Opening ceremonies kicking off this afternoon, followed by several civilian and international performers. It all leads up to the main event, the air show from the Canadian Snowbirds. That starts at 2:48. And we're going to be bringing you that live. You can check out our San Francisco Fleet Week Spectacular. We're going to have the air show and talking to people in attendance. The action starts at 2 p.m. live on KPIX and streaming on the free CBS News app. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area, the crowds are coming to town. Tens of thousands of visitors expected in San Francisco, and that means it's time to clean up. We're going to meet the team in pink putting on the polish.
It would be a lie to say that it's always clean, but that's what we're here for. We're here trying to get it clean.
Plus, we're going to meet a 49ers fan leading red and gold takeovers of opposing stadiums, how he became a member of the faithful purely out of spite.
Grew up in Dallas, 9 years old, fought with my stepdad all the time. He was a Cowboys fan, and so just to make him mad out of spite, I asked for a Jerry Rice jersey.
Daytime highs today are nice and cool as we kick off this weekend's forecast. We have 70s on tap for us, widespread throughout our inland areas with sunnier skies around the corner as early as tomorrow and Sunday. Here's the thing though, a cold front moves in and it brings in wet weather, stormy conditions, and a lot cooler conditions too. We jump from the 70s to the 60s right around the corner, and we're holding on tight to that throughout most of the work week next week. You make your way over into the Bay, it's the exact same setup, just a little bit cooler. So 70s quickly turning into 60s too. This is the forecast for us as we head into next week.
Well, you know, you always clean up a little bit more when you have company coming over. That's why crews in pink have been busy at work in San Francisco with lots of visitors for Fleet Week and then Dreamforce next week. But as Suji Nam shows us, this could be the new norm.
Guillermo Matos, who goes by Mo.
Right now, I'm grabbing the water hose, gonna connect it to our wand, and we're about to get started pressure washing the block.
Pressure washes the streets in the Yerba Buena neighborhood, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week.
It's something I love doing. I love this city. They've taken care of me. You know, it's my time to pay it back.
Mo has been a pressure washer with the Yerba Buena partnership for more than a year. cleaning roughly 18 blocks in the neighborhood. And now, his hands and arms will get busier.
Let's rock and roll, guys.
The San Francisco Downtown Development Corporation, that helps fund the Clean and Safe team, announced they will be expanding their twice-a-month cleanups along the Moscone Convention corridor to now every day of the week.
I come out here, I clean, and business owners, they'll stop and let me know that I did a good job and they appreciate it. It helps bring in customers.
And city leaders say they're seeing an uptick this year. Nearly 60% more scheduled events at the Moscone corridor this year compared to last year. Shola Olatoye, the head of the SF Downtown Development Corporation, is excited to be a part of beautifying the city, and not just for convention season.
So important that visitors to our cities, people who work and live in downtown, really feel that it is a place for everyone.
The additional cleanup, Olatoye says, has far-reaching impacts.
Crime is down 40%. We have convention bookings that's up 60%. I think people are recognizing that there is a real momentum here.
According to the Downtown Development Corporation, the increased convention bookings represent over 659,000 hotel night bookings. And the head of the Yerba Buena Partnership says the cleaning isn't just for visitors.
We've seen 24 new small business restaurants and bars open up, and we have 11,000 residents who live right here within a block of the convention center.
This thing is so fun to drive. I love this job.
And ambassadors like Mo are the force behind the beautification of the city of San Francisco.
I feel like San Francisco gets a bad rap. It would be a lie to say that it's always clean, but that's what we're here for. We're here trying to get it clean.
He looks forward to being a part of an even greater effort of making his hometown shine.
The Moscone corridor sees millions of visitors every year. Kaiser is cutting almost 200 jobs in the Bay Area as it prepares for a strike across the state. Those layoffs will impact sites in Oakland, Pleasanton, San Leandro, and Redwood City. Kaiser says it is because of rising costs. Meantime, the nurses union says more than 30,000 healthcare workers are going to hit the picket line next week. A 5-day strike is set to start on Tuesday. We've reached out to Kaiser to see how this could impact patient care. We'll let you know. There is a fight over a soccer field in a North Bay community that's historically been underserved. Phillips Field is the only athletic field in Marin City. There are plans in the works to restore it, but the district is short on money. To help pay for the project, the district has been working on a deal to get a donation from the Mill Valley Soccer Club. In exchange, they'd get to use the field. But at a board meeting last night, families expressed concern about exactly how this plan would work.
I'm concerned because when I look at their requests, the spreadsheet with the times that they're asking for 97% of usable time.
Our goal is a shared and transparent agreement, not ownership or control.
When anything that of value comes up, whether it's land or resources and money, Marin City just doesn't get what they deserve.
For now, the school board has decided to pause negotiations and work with community groups to raise money instead. 49ers on the road this week as they prepare to take on the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay on Sunday. That game airing live on KPIX, streaming on Paramount+. But there is still a question about the quarterback. Mac Jones is in line for his 4th start this season, but he's been limited in practice because of an injury. He said he's been focused on rest and recovery and sounded optimistic about his status for Sunday.
I mean, the game's not today, right? So I don't really do like the theoretical questions, but definitely feel like I have a good plan in place, and the game's on Sunday, and we'll see how I feel when we get there.
Meantime, Niners fans, as you know, have become famous for taking over stadiums for opposing teams. Kevin Coe introduces us to a former football coach who went from drawing up plays to rooting for the Niners for a living.
John Chapman still has the jersey.
That is the inspiration to a lot, man. That is my most prized possession. Grew up in Dallas, 9 years old, fought with my stepdad all the time. He was a Cowboys fan. And so just to make him mad out of spite, I asked for a Jerry Rice jersey.
Bleeding red and gold as a 9-year-old, John always loved football and later coached Texas high school football for more than a decade. Then one day, he decided to give podcasting a try, calling his show the 49ers Rush Podcast.
How do you like them apples, baby?
As thousands of 49er fans tuned in, John was also making sure just as many fans could participate in one of his favorite pastimes, 49ers Invasions, where fans fill up opposing stadiums on the road.
Trying to give a place at the road games for 49ers fans to link up. I used to travel games by myself, and so like I would show up with like a six-pack or whatever else.
And now, John shows up with the party. For the past 6 years, John and a team of 12 host 49ers Rush Road Invasions, holding weekend-long Niner events wherever the team is set to play.
We're not here about money. We're not here for that. We're here to create an experience for fans that are trusting us. With a lot of people's time, this is their first game ever.
That was the case for the Lopez family.
It was something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Alex, Josh, and their mom Joyce create 49ers fan content online. John saw their story and took them on their first 49ers road invasion in Seattle.
That trip was wonderful. Shout out to 49ers Rush Podcast. John Chapman, love you.
What if I would have asked for a Carolina Panthers jersey at 9 years old? You know, and no shade against them, but like you go to these stadiums. I've done events at 24 different cities. So I've been to 24 different stadiums. And you see the red everywhere.
John is getting ready to head to Tampa Bay, packing tens of autographed jerseys to give away and pay the faith forward, all leading up to the grand finale on Sunday.
This game's going to be bonkers. As crazy as the 49ers games have been, the Bucs have been crazier. 4 straight games decided by last-second kicks.
We have reached out to Vivid Seats. They say current projections show 49ers fans will have a slight advantage in Tampa Bay this Sunday. 51% of fans are expected to be rooted for the Niners. And again, you can root for the Niners live when they take on the Buccaneers. We're going to have it on KPIX and streaming on Paramount Plus. Kickoff at 1:25 Sunday. Still ahead here on CBS News Bay Area. We've reported on numerous encampment sweeps over the years, but what happens after them? We're going to hear from a local advocate who says the crackdowns can lead to a lot of confusion.
We'll get a quick splash of showers throughout all the Bay Area as we head into the overnight hours in places like San Francisco, along the peninsula too. And as we time that out real fast, just to kind of paint this picture, it's not amounting to much. We'll see closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain before we dry up. We see sunnier skies into this weekend. So there's that quick splash of showers. This is just around 10 o'clock tonight. We wake up tomorrow morning, clouds start to dissipate. We're going to see sunny skies just in time for the air show both Saturday and Sunday, which, by the way, it's still going to be an amazing air show. Even though the Blue Angels aren't showing up, we have the T-33, we have the Boeing 777. There's so many exciting things to see as we take our eyes to the sky. As a pilot, I'm just nerding out about this right fast. But from Friday into Sunday, we're talking about upper 60s in places like San Francisco. You take a look at next week, here's the other big story, and I'm really wanting to focus on this. Enjoy this weekend while we have it, because we have stormy weather around the corner as early as next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're talking about wet conditions as we head into next week as low pressure rolls in. That's going to increase relative humidity, bring in cloudier skies, cooler temperatures too. I mean, look at our inland forecast. 70s quickly into 60s from Sunday into Monday. So it's like this weekend is a nice, warm, beautiful hug. And then, yeah, we kick off next work week with some clouds in the sky and, of course, those showers too. Back to you.
San Jose getting some pushback for its crackdown on homeless encampments. The city is facing complaints from homeless people who say their property has been lost or destroyed. One community organization has been keeping a close eye on the sweeps. Kelsey Thorad sat down with a woman who's seen the impact firsthand.
Sean Cartwright is a part of the Rapid Encampment Support Team in San Jose. Whenever there are sweeps in the city, she goes there to monitor the process and help those who are being displaced.
This was swept prior to Autumn Parkway, and then the Creek, and then Columbus.
Sean met me here at what's known as the Bassett Encampment, off Bassett Street, tucked under Highway 87. Sean says this camp has been swept multiple times by multiple agencies because of its location under an overpass and near railroad tracks. She says most recently, it was swept by Caltrans.
When you're in a crisis state, when somebody goes, you're being swept, it's very hard to understand this exact area is city and this exact area is Caltrans and this is that.
Sean says that confusion can lead to people not knowing who to contact about getting their belongings back that were taken in a sweep.
Different agencies all have different policies.
The city of San Jose says it keeps items up to 90 days. People can call the Beautify SJ program to set up an appointment to retrieve their property. Caltrans keeps items it collects 60 days. The type of items kept also depends on the agency doing the sweeping. Sean says that can lead to people losing important items.
They just see a lot of like shoveling and raking and things going into trucks, and they don't see like some careful going through of their materials to see that something's being kept.
The city of San Jose sent us a statement saying it, quote, follows a strict and documented process for all encampment abatements, including providing at least 72 hours written notice prior to an abatement. They say they also document and store all personal items recovered in a safe location. Still, Sean told me it can sometimes be hard to recover those items.
I spent all the legwork, 3 weeks, trying to get the people's stuff back.
The goal, of course, in sweeping encampments is to get the people who are living on the streets into housing. San Jose's plan includes placing people in temporary housing, then hopefully transitioning them into more permanent housing. But Sean says that can be hard to do when many of these people don't trust the city. That's why, she says, many end up leaving the city's programs and coming back out onto the streets to the same areas they were swept before.
People are like, well, why would I want to end at a tiny home where I don't have my own bathroom, I don't have the ability to cook, where I could be out here and I do have self-determination.
San Francisco also faced some backlash over its approach to encampments. The Coalition on Homelessness sued the city, alleging its policies displaced and destroyed property belonging to unhoused residents. Last month, San Francisco ended its years-long legal battle. The city agreed to pay nearly a $3 million settlement and change its approach to sweeps. Coming up in our next half hour here on CBS News Bay Area, a new effort to revive America's shipyards. How the Bay Area could see a rebound in shipbuilding.
Bear Island is the oldest naval port on the Pacific.
Your community, your news, powered by KPIX. CBS News Bay Area. You're streaming CBS News Bay Area.
Thanks for being with us this Friday. I'm Ann Makovic, and here's another look at our news headlines. The stage is set for the Fleet Week Air Show today in San Francisco. The Canadian Snowbirds are the big headliner for this afternoon's performers. That is because the Blue Angels are not taking flight this year because of the government shutdown. The Colombian Ark Gloria is docked for tours, and the HMCS Nanaimo from Canada is making its way to town. There's been another report of a freeway shooting in Oakland. This time, it was this morning. Southbound 880 near the toll plaza happened at around 6 a.m. The CHP closed several lanes for hours to investigate. They have not said if anybody was hurt, but we are being told that a driver was there being treated by emergency personnel. And Israel says a Gaza ceasefire is now in effect. That starts the 72-hour clock for the release of the remaining hostages in Gaza. Palestinians are starting to return to what's left of their neighborhoods. This comes after President Trump helped broker a peace deal between Israel and Hamas to end the war. In exchange, Israel agreed to release 250 Palestinian prisoners. All right, let's get another check on our first alert forecast now as these Fleet Week activities get underway today. Meteorologist Jessica Burt tracking the conditions.
Well, we have beautiful weather just in time for the air show this weekend. Take a look at this. We're gearing up for daytime highs very similar to yesterday in the 70s and 60s, widespread throughout the Bay. That puts us about 5 degrees below average in certain communities down into the Santa Clara Valley. We zoom all the way into the North Bay. Santa Rosa's gearing up for daytime highs in the 60s this afternoon, similar to San Francisco. And as we tilt that camera high, I want to show you one last thing. We're not done with the rain just yet. Check this out. You're going to see a little bit of green on this map as we head into the overnight hours tonight. We actually have some quick showers pushing throughout all the Bay Area. So don't be shocked if you wake up tomorrow morning and you're thinking to yourself, Did it rain last night? Because yes, it probably did, but it's very light. And then we dry it fast just in time for this weekend. Take a look at this. If you're planning on going out to the air show, first things first, it's still going to be a great one, even though the Blue Angels aren't there. We're gearing up for a great forecast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, upper 60s in the forecast. Grab that jacket just in case, but honestly, it's going to be a beautiful one. Pretty light winds too. We're talking about winds pushing in from the northwest Saturday and Sunday up to around 15 to 20 miles per hour, but it should be lighter in those early morning hours. Now, we do have some changes as we head into next week. This is really important to note. Saturday and Sunday are dry days. Look at Monday. We not only cool down from the 70s into the 60s, but we also have stormy weather right around the corner. And that lingers as we head into next week. We have a lot of cooler weather on tap for us as we head into next week all throughout the Bay Area as this low pressure system rolls in. It'll increase relative humidity. It brings in rainy conditions widespread from the South Bay all the way to the North Bay. And we're going to keep a close eye on those rainfall totals as we head into next week. It's expected to be a wet start to the week and a wet finish to the week. So we'll have more on that coming up in a bit. Back to you.
Fleet Week taking over San Francisco this weekend. The celebration was envisioned as a tribute to the Bay Area's glory days as a naval hub. But these days, there is a severe lack of ship production here in the U.S. And one of the only things both political parties can actually agree on is that we should jumpstart the industry. Vallejo's Mare Island has a long history of shipbuilding. Our Max Darrow reports on how it could be a prime spot for a comeback.
As the sun rises above the Carquinez Strait,
search and rescue left.
Jenny Scott is deep in a simulation of a search and rescue pattern within the waterway outside.
And this is one of the tools that we use to help us with navigating the ship safely.
Just one of the many components of her coursework as a student at the Cal Maritime Academy in Vallejo.
Yes.
She's a marine transportation senior cadet looking to make a career in the maritime industry.
After Cal Maritime, I'm hoping to work on the bridge of cruise ships, but definitely deep sea. I could see myself even working deep sea, transporting cargo.
Scott plans to join a field that has shrunk significantly over the last few decades. But a bipartisan bill called the Ships for America Act aims to change that. Congressman John Garamendi is a co-sponsor.
It's really about rebuilding the American maritime industry. We've simply abandoned our ships. We've abandoned our ports, and we are getting crushed by China.
According to the bill's authors, there are fewer than 200 U.S.-flagged ocean-going vessels. Only around 80 of them engage in international commerce. China has 5,500 that we know of. When it comes to shipbuilding, there are 20 shipbuilders in the United States that are capable of building ocean-going vessels. At the end of World War II, there were 80.
We can't wait. We're seeing a continued decline in the American maritime industry. This has been a rapid decline over the last 30 years, and that decline has accelerated.
Garamendi says the SHIPS Act would reverse that decline by reviving domestic shipbuilding and expanding efforts to recruit, train, and retain skilled mariners and shipyard workers. A key component, the SHIPS Act would establish the Maritime Security Trust.
Every container that arrives in a California or an American port is taxed. That tax revenue will now be used exclusively for rebuilding our American maritime industry, for the employment, for the education of the workers, for the improvement of the ports themselves.
His district has a rich shipbuilding and maritime history.
Mare Island is the oldest naval port on the Pacific. It goes back more than 150 years.
Which brings us back to Scott and the academy that's called Vallejo home since 1943.
A lot of people don't realize the multitude of opportunities and jobs that there are within the maritime industry.
She is eager to begin her career on the water, helping safely transport a particular kind of cargo.
Because a cruise ship, the cargo, to put it in broad terms, is the passengers versus...
And perhaps on a voyage in the not-so-distant future, it'll be more likely she'll come across more U.S.-flagged ships, thanks to a bipartisan effort in 2025.
Well, President Trump just agreed to a deal with Finland for 11 new icebreaker ships. 4 of those would be built in Finland, the other 7 slated to be built in the U.S. with the help of Finnish experts. All right, we're going to be bringing you the Fleet Week Spectacular live today. Action starts at 2 p.m. on KPIX and streaming on the free CBS News app. Fleet Week and the upcoming Dreamforce conference, bringing tens of thousands of visitors to San Francisco. It all adds up to a busy time for hotels in the city. And of course, they're coming off a brutal few years. That includes the pandemic and extended labor disputes. As Brad Hamilton reports, the chaos is a welcome change.
For hotels here in downtown San Francisco, the next 2 weeks might as well be their Super Bowl. You got Fleet Week this week, then Dreamforce next week. That means thousands of people to downtown and not a whole lot of empty rooms. For John Anderson, busy time is all the time. But starting this week,
South of Market is going to be hopping for the next 7 to 10 days.
the Marriott Marquis general manager is running what feels like a 2-week gauntlet.
We're a 1,500 room hotel. We have 130,000 square feet of space, and every single bit of that space is taken up by Dreamforce next week.
And it's not just his hotel. Alex Bastian with the San Francisco Hotel Council says occupancy rates citywide are pushing 90 to 95%.
And it's so great for our city because for every $100 spent in the hotels, roughly $250 are spent outside of the hotels. So that's great for the restaurants and coffee shops.
Yes, Fleet Week is slightly scaled back this year, a result of the federal government shutdown impacting military participation. But Alex says that travelers are still filling restaurants, shops, and rooms. Plus, next week's Dreamforce conference is expected to bring more than 40,000 attendees to downtown San Francisco.
We're going to keep the party going here in San Francisco. This city has so much to offer.
Yeah, party time is here, which also means that every hotel near the Moscone Center becomes prime real estate. At last check on Expedia, hotel prices for spots near the convention are going for at least $1,000 a night. But Alex wants last-minute travelers to realize that's not the norm.
It's a supply and demand issue when tens of thousands of people come to San Francisco and the 30,000 hotel rooms are taken. There's a scarcity.
For John Anderson and his staff, that means all hands on deck, a welcome kind of chaos after years of pandemic recovery.
The customers are definitely, talking about the improvement around San Francisco. I was actually in Las Vegas earlier this week at IMAX, the big travel trade show, and even our customers there are talking about the improvement over the past 12 months.
And after 2 weeks of check-ins, conferences, and cocktail hours, the hope is that this momentum continues long after the final guest checks out.
Things are on the up and up right now. We're looking good.
Alex says that between Fleet Week and then Dreamforce next week, that could bring in tens of millions of dollars into the San Francisco economy, a sigh of relief for everyone, and a happy week indeed.
It is also right now Tech Week in San Francisco, a series of events bringing together tech startups, companies, and tech investors. After leaving its San Francisco Center Mall location 2 years ago, Nordstrom is back in the city, but with a different look. The new store is on Fillmore Street on the edge of Pacific Heights, but it's only allowed for in-store pickups. This is Nordstrom's latest local service hub. There, customers can pick up or return online orders, get alterations done, and schedule styling appointments. But some people who live around the area have pushed back. They are citing parking concerns, traffic, and having a chain retailer among boutiques and small shops. But some businesses in the area see the addition as an opportunity.
It's a little odd to me that you have a Nordstrom's like that, because I'm so used to seeing them in big shopping centers. But I think it's a very welcome addition to Fillmore Street.
I think it's good because it brings a little bit of what was downtown to this area.
The 1,750 square foot store is the first Nordstrom local to open in Northern California. Coming up next here on CBS News Bay Area, tracking the unseen, how a tool from the Bay Area is mapping harmful pollutants around us, and even got the attention of a former vice president.
Your neighborhood, by your house, maybe where your kids go to school, you can see how much pollution is happening there.
Your community, your news, powered by KPIX. CBS News Bay Area. Watch anywhere, anytime. Stay informed and connected. Trusted local news when you want it. CBS News Bay Area. Watch free on any device.
Daytime highs today are nice and cool as we kick off this weekend's forecast. We have 70s on tap for us, widespread throughout our inland areas with sunnier skies around the corner as early as tomorrow and Sunday. Here's the thing though, a cold front moves in and it brings in wet weather, stormy conditions, and a lot cooler conditions too. We jump from the 70s to the 60s right around the corner, and we're holding on tight to that throughout most of the work week next week. You make your way over into the Bay, it's the exact same setup, just a little bit cooler. So 70s quickly turning into 60s too. This is the forecast for us as we head into next week.
Well, in today's Project Earth, a free new tool can help you track something invisible, small, harmful pollutants. It's done in a similar way that meteorologists track approaching storms. And part of the initiative began right here in the Bay Area. Late afternoon in San Francisco, near Phillips Field, there's time for a last-minute game of fetch, some windsurfing, and a sand castle. Vanessa Brownstein and her son Nicholas love the fresh air.
I grew up in Los Angeles, so I feel like the air in San Francisco is almost so much better. And it feels cool.
But when it comes to air quality, there's a lot more than meets the eye. There is growing concern over a tiny airborne threat.
It has long-term effects.
Dr. Tanya Payapilli heads up the nonprofit Breathe California. She is concerned about fine particles or particulate matter.
The particulate matter is like 30 times smaller than your hair, human hair. And that goes deep and penetrates into the lungs, and it stays there.
Fine particulates are created by burning fossil fuels. They play a role in heart disease, lung problems, neurological disorders, infertility, and more. Now, for the first time, a groundbreaking web tool visualizes this often invisible health threat.
We think this will really help people realize it's much more common than you think to be exposed to dangerous levels of air pollution.
Gavin McCormick is co-founder of Climate Trace, which just launched the free tool measuring plumes, the airborne clouds that contain these particles. The tool uses satellite technology and advanced atmospheric modeling to track the plumes from more than 660 million sources worldwide.
You can see in your neighborhood, by your house, maybe where your kids go to school, you can see how much pollution is happening there and where is it coming from.
The idea all began at Cal. While at UC Berkeley, McCormick, along with other researchers, created a nonprofit called Time, which, with satellites and AI, measured power plant emissions around the world.
And then Al Gore calls and he says, I've been waiting since the 1990s for technology like this. This is amazing.
That led to Climate Trace, a coalition of 150 different nonprofits and universities. The group monitors and publishes greenhouse gas emissions, and now plumes of particulates.
If your child has asthma or a member of your family has difficulty breathing for other reasons, you can see exactly where it's coming from.
Here's a day's worth of plumes in the Bay Area, their paths directed by wind and weather, the health impacts yet unknown. One major source, domestic and international shipping.
We see a lot of tanker ships come in and out of the bay. So I understand that this is a big city and we need to bring things in and out, but maybe is there a way we can do it in a way where it doesn't hurt the air?
Air that Nicholas finds just right.
Not too windy, and it's not too hot, not too cold.
The group will soon release more findings and solutions with the hope that we'll all breathe easier. McCormick tells us that Climate Trace is now actively seeking to partner with public health institutions to connect that plume data with established health impact models. If you want to check out the tool, head to our website, kpix.com. Coming up here on CBS News Bay Area, combating fear with film. Well, organizers of San Francisco's Latino Film Festival are hoping to inspire empowerment at a critical time.
We'll get a quick splash of showers throughout all the Bay Area as we head into the overnight hours in places like San Francisco, along the peninsula too. And as we time that out real fast, just to kind of paint this picture, it's not amounting to much. We'll see closer to around 1/100 of an inch of rain before we dry up. We see sunnier skies into this weekend. So there's that quick splash of showers. This is just around 10 o'clock tonight. We wake up tomorrow morning, clouds start to dissipate. We're going to see sunny skies just in time for the air show both Saturday and Sunday, which, by the way, it's still going to be an amazing air show. Even though the Blue Angels aren't showing up, we have the T-33, we have the Boeing 777. There's so many exciting things to see as we take our eyes to the sky. As a pilot. I'm just nerding out about this right fast. But from Friday into Sunday, we're talking about upper 60s in places like San Francisco. You take a look at next week, here's the other big story, and I'm really wanting to focus on this. Enjoy this weekend while we have it, because we have stormy weather around the corner as early as next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're talking about wet conditions as we head into next week as low pressure rolls in. That's going to increase relative humidity, bring in cloudier skies, cooler temperatures too. I mean, look at our inland forecast. 70s quickly into 60s from Sunday into Monday. So it's like this weekend is a nice, warm, beautiful hug. And then, yeah, we kick off next work week with some clouds in the sky and, of course, those showers too. Back to you.
As we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, Latino Pride is going to shine bright on the big screen in just a few weeks. Organizers say this year's Latino Film Festival is more important than ever, with rising tension over immigration policies. Laureen Ayub shows us how the films this year can inspire community empowerment.
It's location scouting time for Lucho Ramirez. The planner of the annual San Francisco Latino Film Festival is at Apple Cinemas, where he's passing out flyers and exploring theater options. He says every movie selected highlights an authentic element of Latin culture.
These films show us the diversity of different communities across the Americas, and it's something that I think is very necessary for us as film consumers.
And one such film that will be featured in the festival this year is American Agitators. Directed by Bay Area filmmaker Raymond Tellez, the documentary highlights the impact of Fred Ross Sr., one of the most influential grassroots organizers of the 20th century. He advised the likes of Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta.
Fred Ross, to the total contrary point, was the beautiful American. He was the American who came out to the barrios, who came out to the labor camp, and put himself on the line.
He was their mentor. So the film is about his life and how he learned to organize, but it's also a film inspiring people to organize in their communities as well.
Lucho says despite the tensions around ongoing ICE raids, he wanted to make sure the film festival continues on in person this year.
Even in these times that seem a little bit more pointed, I think the last thing that we should do is be canceling events or trying to shrink, because we don't gain anything by hiding away.
And Raymond Tellez, who will be present during his film screening, says he hopes the film will inspire the audience with new tools for community empowerment.
I think the film is very timely because I know people want to make changes in the world. They want to have an effect on what's going on in our country. And hopefully this film will inspire people to do that.
And that is exactly the vision Lucho has for the festival, to build both awareness and community.
It's important for a lot of arts organizations to continue to do the work that they do because it does bring joy, and we're still here and we're not going anywhere.
For Lucho, the show must go on, not just for the sake of cinema, but for the communities that see their stories come to life on screen.
The Latino Film Festival runs from October 23rd through November 6th. Tickets and info available at cinemassf.com. And you can check out our special Una Familia next Thursday, October 16th. Starts at 7:30 p.m. on KPIX and streaming on the free CBS News app. It's going to be hosted by Gianna Franco and Len Ramirez. Thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ann Makovic. We're going to be right back with your First Alert forecast and another look at your top stories.